49ers are holding out hope for Drake Jackson. That is the new topic. In an interview with Matt Barrows of The Athletic, defensive line coach Chris Kasurik sounded in an upbeat tone over Jackson's skill set, even though he's been away from the field this offseason. AZ Sports is reporting, Larry, that Jackson, who had surgery on his knee that prompted the 49ers to place him on the IR, and he hasn't, taken a snap in OTAs or mandatory minicamp, he continues to recover. You would look at the fact that this team went out and they're, made a splashy signing of Leonard Floyd and then came back with Yetur Gross-Matos. There's a lot of downward arrows on Drake Jackson's status on this team. They signed his replacement twice over, and he's yet to hit the field practicing. But Chris Kasurik apparently remains very optimistic, saying that, even though there's a lack of practice time and he's not out there participating right now, they still are holding out hopes for him to take regular snaps in 2024. Drake Jackson is a guy who, has got the body to figure it out. Can he figure it out? This is a monster year for him. There's a very good chance that he will get a lot of snaps. There's also another good chance he's not even on the roster week 1. What do you think happens to Drake Jackson?
Oh, dude. It's funny too. It's like, I don't want to disagree with the premise, but I was standing right there and there was not optimism. That I don't know how that read, but it was not optimistic. When the first question was asked about Drake Jackson, Kasarik's like, well, I can't talk about him. He's rehabbing and, he's got the knee injury. It's like, so he basically, it sounds like Drake is working hard. They like him as a guy, but he started the whole dialogue about Drake with like, I can't talk about him at all because he's rehabbing a knee. So I don't know how much time he's had on the field, if any. That's my sense of it. When I was standing there, I was standing right there with Kasarik and Matt when Kasarik talked about Drake. Now, he said some good things about Drake. Drake's working hard and he's been here and this and that. But as far as, what's his, he needs to get a whole lot stronger. And he was deficiently strong. He had strength deficiencies as a rookie, only slightly better in year 2. And then he had the big week 1 against the Steelers where he kind of fell into 3 sacks and then it all went away for him. I love the kid. I think he's a great guy. He's one of my favorite guys to talk to on the team. He's a terrific kid. But he just needs to get stronger. And he needs to develop some pass rush moves.
He was a second rounder because of the Trey Lance deal, but he was the first pick of their 2022 draft.
Yeah. And he has flashed. He's flashed. I think he looked good as an interior rusher inside their NASCAR package 2 years ago, kind of the Arden Key role, because he does play with pretty good strength at the point. But as far as, strength and moves, and technique, it's just, there's a lot of work to be done there. So, yes, is this a huge summer for Drake Jackson? Yes. And, I'm worried about this one because the Niners need Robert Beal and Drake Jackson to both fire and play ball this year. And in the past, there was kind of like gravy if those guys performed. They now need those guys to perform, and it's not gravy. And if those guys don't perform, it's going to be a bad thing. Look at the 4-downer D line. They've got Bosa and Leonard Floyd. And Yetur Gross-Matos probably plays right defensive end for Leonard Floyd on 1st and 2nd down. So your 3 defensive ends are Bosa, Floyd, and Yetur Gross-Matos. Who's the 4th defensive end and the 5th defensive end? Typically, you're going to go with, roughly 10 D linemen, 5 tackles, 5 ends. So you got Bosa, Floyd, Yetur Gross-Matos. Then you've got those 3 are locks. Then it's Drake Jackson, Robert Beal, and then it just falls off the floor. Then it's Austin Bryant. So, you could make an argument that
Austin Bryant looks fantastic in pass.
Yeah, Austin Bryant looked good. Yeah. And then there's Alex Barrett and there's the kid from Maryland. But, they need Drake Jackson and Robert Beal to play like what they are. Beal's an athletic 6'4". He put on about 12 pounds. So he's about 260. Never been heavier. But, he didn't play consistently at Georgia. and got better as the year went on last year, but didn't look like much in camp, was hurt a lot. Drake was, had a great first week and then just disappeared, IR'd by season-ending IR'd by like week 6.
Yeah.
They now need those two guys to play, and if those two guys don't play, the Niners are going to have to go on to the waiver market and find Taco Charlton or find whoever else is out there. So Drake Jackson and Robert Beal Jr. and them playing well is absolutely near the top of the list. Most important things that have to happen this summer.
Well, and at the risk of going back to any Brandon Ayuk conversation, maybe an eventual trade of Ayuk, you're asking for a team's, third best D end,
Nick Herbig. That's what I was saying. If you could get, okay, so take that deal and cut it way down. Let's say they're offering you Darnell Washington and a 2025 pick. If you could get Darnell Washington and Nick Herbig and a 2025 pick, I'm much more interested because Herbig could be that additional edge piece and a little insurance against Drake and Beal maybe not finding form. So it's a big summer for Drake. I mean, it really is.
It really is. He's a guy that I think everyone's rooting for him. Again, flashes is all we've gotten. It's consistency that has to start showing up on film, not just a flash one week and then we don't talk about you for 3 weeks in a row. And that's what Drake needs to get better at.